how's your journey been? Like when last time we talked, the first time we talked,
Mhm.
you thought the Earth was a globe.
Oh boy, you're gonna start me off right there.
Yeah, that's where we're starting.
You know what? I'll I'll leave it here. Is to where before I was not even open to the conversation. Really, I
As
remember
we all are.
years ago when I believe it was a sports star came out and said that he believed that the world was flat.
Kyrie Irving and Shaq.
Right, and I remember at the time I was like, well, these guys are bananas. And now I just say, listen, I am funny. You have like your Earth in the background and my Earth in the background. Is that I am now like, listen, I have not seen it with my own two.
Wait,
With my own. Go ahead.
real Earth, fake Earth.
Yeah, fake Earth. Is that now? It's like, listen, I have not seen the Earth for myself, like for my own two eyes, like from like as it being a globe. And me and my friends have many conversations now about the potential of
Have
flat
you
Earth.
have you seen large bodies of water at rest curving?
Right. See, at these,
I'm asking you some questions. Have you seen large bodies of water curving?
like, no.
Okay. Have
Right.
you
Hmm.
seen any evidence of spinning at 1,000 miles an hour or orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour?
Dave, that's the one that kills me. Like the sun traveling at 70,000 and everything orbiting around it, never going ahead, never being behind. That whole thing is I
That
don't know
whole
why.
Think it through. Think it
Right.
through. That whole thing completely destroys the globe model. Completely. So the reason you can't wrap your mind around it is because maybe you're not ready to wrap your mind around it. Because if you do, you will understand beyond a shadow of a doubt that all of these observations, all of these scientific experiments absolutely prove that we're not on a globe. Absolutely.
Right.
Like if you said, "Hey Dave, is the Earth flat?" And my answer is, it is absolutely not a globe, and we are absolutely not moving. I'll describe it as flat. Flat's not a shape. Flat is the description of level and horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have hills and valleys and all sorts of stuff. But water tells us, plumb bobs tell us, a plumb bob holding over a body of resting water is at a right angle to the water. It's perpendicular. The water is horizontal. Horizon, horizontal. And if you had 100 plumb bobs in a row going a mile apart, they'd all be parallel. They wouldn't be like this. They wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
like this. They wouldn't be pointing at a ball, at different directions. Down is not to the center of the ball. Down is down. No cities ever plan for curvature, bridges,
Mm-hmm.
tunnels, sonar.
Right.
Sonar can see another submarine 100 miles away. There would be a mountain over a mile high. A mile high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it? I'll let you go. I'm sorry for rambling, but I've been up all night.
Go for it.
I was on Coast to Coast AM last night, so I got up at 1:30 in the morning to be on. It's crazy. And those are a bunch of outer space, believing, people. So it's just amazing that people go, "I'm not ready to accept it yet." And my question, I still think it's a globe. You put up some great evidence, some interesting thoughts, but I still believe it's a globe. So I put out countless, what I call proofs that it's not a globe. I'll throw them all away if you can give me one globe proof.
Right.
One proof of the globe. And then when you can't, because there aren't any, what's your excuse at that point? Now, I'm not pointing you out. I'm pointing everybody. You're not alone. You're in the majority.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I've noticed, like for instance, just through having you on my podcast and it being one of the most viewed to date, even the clips that we put out, that there's obviously a very strong following that I've also seen through following you now. And I have posted some pictures. I remember I was by the ocean and I took a picture, and where I wouldn't see this before on my social media, I see it now. I post that picture and then someone will say, "That looks pretty flat." Where I never used to see stuff like that before.
Can we talk about the horizon for a minute? So the horizon on a flat Earth and a globe Earth would look the same, except depending on how far you can see, how high you were. On a globe Earth, it should start dropping down, which it never does. But it would be a curve, right? Mm-hmm. It would be a curve. You understand what I'm saying by that? When we look into the distance, we see the same distance in all directions. All right?
Right.
So here's my, I have a little thing. So you're here. This is the limit of our vision. Our vision is where the sky meets the ground. That's the limit of our vision, right? Because, boom, if I zoomed in with my camera, I can make it bigger. Then I can go farther until it just comes together. If you're standing on a long street with street lights, the one over your head is high above your head. It's up there.
Right.
The 1/4 mile, 1/10 of a mile down the road it's at your eye level. But you know that it's still up there, but it's at your eye level. And the one a mile down the road, you can't even see it. Okay. So when you're out looking out at the horizon, you see the same distance in all directions. Look at the curve. This is the curve, because the foreground, your peripheral vision doesn't narrow like your view of the horizon does. It all comes together, but you can still see the same width. So you're seeing out here farther beyond where I'm losing myself. Beyond. So this is a curve, right? So if we draw a line across it, where's my line? What happened? There we go. If we draw a line across it, there's the curve. And then what does your ball programming say? It says, oh, it's a globe, but it's not.
It's just the ability of the eye to see.
It's just, you see I say, put your head in the middle of a hula hoop, and the edge of the hula hoop is the limit of your vision. And that's a curve. But your brain, your programming will tell you, oh, it's a sphere. It's the curve of the sphere, because we've been brainwashed. We have been brainwashed. Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know what? And yeah. Okay. Let's leave it at that.
All right.
So it's amazing. Like this podcast, more than any other, has changed the kind of like the overall trajectory of my thinking. Free thought, for instance. People will come over to my house and we just have conversations where nothing is wrong, where we just share opinions. And it's amazing the things that come out of people's mouths when you give them the opportunity to do so.
Jason, you just said something, that this changed the trajectory of the podcast, of your life too, because now when you see the world for what it is, and guess what? You only know this much of what we're starting to see. It's incredible. You'll never have a bored second in your life. That's what all flat earthers have in common. We're never bored for a second. All right. There's always something else. And like, if you start looking into the mud floods in Tataria, forget it. That rabbit hole is deep. Have you looked into the giant trees yet? Trees with a circumference of dozens, tens of miles here on Earth. All right, I'm gonna ruin your life after this. We're not gonna talk about it too much here. I'm gonna send you a link to a video that's gonna get you addicted to a channel and multiple channels, and then in 2 weeks you're gonna be like, call me and like, Dave, I haven't come off my computer in 2 weeks. I haven't done anything.
Okay.
But so my point is, when you there's lots of conspiracies, right? And you're a conspiracy guy, right?
We're going to be talking about another one today, right?
Yeah. Conspiracy analyst, not conspiracy theorist. Right. We analyze the conspiracy theory. So we're conspiracy analysts. Nothing wrong with that. Versus watch the news and call the person that studied for the last 6 years an idiot. Just watch the news and repeat. That's not a way to be. So flat Earth, understanding that we're not on a globe denier, if you will, changes you permanently. You're finished, and your life does go on another trajectory. Mine has, and it's amazing. All right, sorry. Go ahead. I'm talking a lot. You bring me where you want to go. Bring me where you want to go.
No worries. No, that's a nice little chat that we had right there.
Yeah. And when I said real Earth, this is video footage from a balloon. That what you have is a cartoon.
Right.
Okay. And no arguments there. But you're showing a cartoon, and I'm showing real footage.
Right. And a lot of the images of the Earth are
All?
computer generated. And they say that. Or they're
Yeah.
all, that's right, they're all.
Some of them are painted.
All, some are painted.
Some are painted. But you know, they're NASA, you know, people say, well, what about the photos of Earth? NASA agrees that they're photoshopped, that there are no photographs. Go look at, find anywhere where NASA says this is a photograph of Earth. They'll say this is a picture of Earth, because a picture could be painted. This is a image of Earth, because an image could be, you know, not real. But photos, you know, this is the famous blue marble, stepped in repeated clouds. And Robert Simon, the NASA visual artist who made it, said he made it in Photoshop, and he used Command Z a lot, and he basically made it from data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, then you look at all of the space agencies' images of Earth. Which one do you like, right? I'm a blue marble guy. How about you? Which one do you like? Because if one of these is fake or one of these is real, then the other ones are fake. They're all fake. None of them make any sense. This is what they're showing us, right? And then people go, well, how they didn't have Photoshop back then, you know, and I say, do you need Photoshop to paint that? Let me ask you a question. What would be easier to paint? This scene with the wine glasses and everything, or this blue marble? What would be easier to paint? If you were a talented artist, which one would be easier and quicker to paint?
Dave, you're killing me already.
I just want to ask you a question. What do you, of course, this one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you think it's possible to paint this one accurately?
That'd be tough.
This is a painting.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, this is a painting.
Yeah.
It's called a photorealistic painting. Google photorealistic paintings. It's amazing what people have some serious talent. But look at this. This isn't real. You can't tell that it's not real unless you got really up close and stuff. This, if you can't tell this is a cartoon, you've been brainwashed. We've all been brainwashed.
Look at that. David Weiss already off to a fast start. I'm gonna have to use that as a clip or try to edit that in somewhere. I haven't even had a chance to give you an intro, brother.
All right. Well, we jumped into it. So good. Let's do the intro. I like the intro.
Yeah.
After the beginning is better than the intro. So now we'll do the intro.
Now we'll do the intro. Welcome once again to the Launchpad Podcast. My name is J-Man, and this is a platform for free speech, free expression, free thought, and nobody better to have on the podcast to speak freely and speak of those expressions and those free thoughts. David Weiss, I would say last time he toned me down, but he is the voice and the face right now for Flat Earth Theory. And we are going to talk about NASA today because NASA and Flat Earth are very closely intertwined. Basically, NASA is a lie. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
1,000%.
1,000%. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now I have my doubts when it comes to the lunar landing, right?
Yeah.
Like
you have doubts? You have doubts?
Why are you killing me?
Let me ask you a question. You ever do you live near your airport? Whenever you fly, do you live close, you know, within decent distance? You ever fly when you're approaching the airport over your home and see your house?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
What do you say to the stranger next to you?
Well, like there's my
there's my house, right? You don't even know that person, okay?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If you went to the moon, a desolate rock in the middle of nothing, isolated from all humanity, and you got there, at one point, would you say to your buddy with all the joking around and golf playing and dune buggy riding, hey, look at the Earth. Hey, look at that. Hey, look, there's America. Never once did they mention the Earth. Never once did they go, look at the Earth. You know what? The transcript should be of the conversation on the moon, and I'll keep it clean because I try not because people get offended. I love 4-letter words. But
we're going to say the same thing here, but go ahead.
Yeah. The whole conversation would be, oh my effing God, look at the effing Earth, holy effing S, holy mother F. It was just that's the entire conversation for the entire time. Holy, look, the USA, there it is. Holy moly, look at that storm. Oh my God. look how beautiful. Holy crap. And no, they're going, oh, look at this rock. Oh, this is a nice gray little rock, which turned out to be petrified wood. Okay. You know about that, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do. And I agree. That's like one of the big things. If I thought of myself stepping on the moon, forget even the Earth. Let's say we're not even looking at Earth. I'd be a lot more excited about traveling that distance, basically to another planet and putting my feet down on an alien world. And they have like some scripted, this is one small step. I'd be swearing and going absolutely bananas as well. And then, yeah, sure, take a look at the Earth and maybe at least one reference.
Never once did they mention the Earth.
Okay.
Never once. Never once. And then they're jumping all around like this. Why wouldn't they're 1/6 the gravity? No, they'd be moving fast. They wouldn't be moving slow. Okay. They're hanging from balloons in this shot here. They're hanging from wires and they're bouncing up and down. They literally have like a 15-foot wide balloon taking 90% of their weight off.
Okay, similar.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, I believe very early on, there was another crew that was supposed to go to the moon, and they died in a capsule, like in one of the test capsules. Like,
are you talking about Gus Grissom, where they burned up on the launch pad? They were doing a test.
Yes.
And their story was with electrical fire. They had pure oxygen in there, and he burned up. But before that, Gus Grissom was outwardly spoken on how insanely bad all of the technology was. They couldn't communicate to the control tower from the launch pad. And he's like, how the heck are we going to communicate from the moon? Right? At that point, he believed he was going to the moon. And then he hung a lemon on the door of the capsule to send a message like, this is the lemon. This is, and I think he was, probably screaming that he's going to go public, and they killed him.
Right.
They killed him. And then there was another guy, I forget the name. He wrote a whole report about exposing NASA completely. And before it got released, his car got hit by a train that was owned by NASA.
All right. Could happen.
Could happen.
It's possible.
Could happen, yes. Right? You know what's going on here?
What's going on here?
So the rocket went to the moon, and then the lander separated from the orbiter. 2 of the 3 went down to the moon, and one guy stayed on the whole time and went around the moon a couple times, right? Okay. That's how it went. So he's up there alone, and he's doing paperwork. And why does the camera pan up? Who's filming this? There's no one on. There's no one on there with him. This is just a little trick in a zero-G plane to make you think that they're floating in space.
Right. Now, it's not possible that they have a camera there, like an automatic camera that would follow motion or anything of that nature.
In 1969. Okay.
Well, that's what kind of blows my mind altogether. Like, I remember the first time that we spoke and you showed me a picture of Hubble. And when you really take a look at the Hubble telescope, it does look like it's really frail. And the lunar lander, that looked even more frail than Hubble. And so it's amazing to think that something so small that looks like it's made out of tin foil and so frail could possibly make it all the way to the moon, land, jettison off again, connect, and then come back home. And with less computer power than what I have on my cell phone.
That's less computer power than you have in your watch, and not even your Apple Watch, your freaking Timex, calculator watch.
Come on, I'm trying to keep it.
So here on the app, if you go to the images section, let's just load it. I'm just loading a new version of the app, and if you go to the lunar lander right there, look at this thing. Now, think. Look at that. What's that made out of? Did Lockheed Grumman make that, or did the people over at Marshall's make it, or what Mitchell's or whatever, the arts and crafts store? Okay.
Right.
It's literally made from curtain rods and tin foil and it's just horrible. Look at the structure, right? Look at these are jets. Those are jets right there. Okay. It's a little delayed. Sorry about that. This is absolute insanity. Would you put your kid in that and then submerge it in a pond?
That's a good point. I
Okay.
definitely would. Yeah.
Right. And think about air pressure. Yeah. Like if you ever have a bottle of water on an airplane and then when you get to altitude and you opened it again and it was half full, it's pressurized just because of the tiny, tiny lowering of pressure at flying at altitude. Okay. And of course, you've seen the tanker, the metal tanker train where they suck all the air out of it and the whole thing implodes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So NASA has a vacuum chamber testing facility, and the walls on it are more than 10 feet thick, made with steel and concrete. So the thing doesn't implode when they try to suck all the air out of it, which they can't even do. They can't even get to the volume of vacuum that space is in this thing. And never once did they put an astronaut in that one. They put an astronaut in another one, and once in his suit, and before they can get half the air out, the liquid in his mouth started boiling. He passed out and he almost died. And they've never done it again. But use your mind, your God-given common sense. If you're wearing an airtight suit with pressure in here, we need this amount of pressure. What happens when you go into low pressure? It's going to expand and explode, right? We have, I should pull up that video. I don't have it. Where you put something in a vacuum chamber and it has air in it, it explodes. They put a soda can in there, it explodes. They put a Stretch Armstrong in there, he exploded, right? He would look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but no, they're just moving around in their snowboarding suits, going, oh, this is fun, playing golf, dune buggies, doing rolls, skidding around. Absolute and total nonsense. Absolute and total nonsense.
So there's also the argument of the different light sources on the moon. Like you'll see shadows going in different directions where the only light should have been coming from the sun.
Yeah, and people argue that, well, it's because the hill and the hill changes the shadow and you can't even go there because everything about the moon is so fake. I'm not going to argue about the shadows. For example, when we look at the moon on a full moon night in the middle of nowhere, you can read by it. It casts your shadow on the ground. Okay, it's bright enough so you can drive with your lights off. Right? You agree with that? Clear night, full moon.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, you can see the road.
You can see the road, and it casts your shadow on the ground. So, let's say that's 1 lumen.
Hey, Dave, I think by having that thing on in the background, it's messing with the quality of your picture.
Oh, let me pull that off.
I just think.
Any better?
I'll probably just take a couple of seconds, but I think it takes up a lot of.
Oh, are we out of sync?
No, we're on sync. I just noticed that you're like it pixelated just a little bit on your end.
All right.
So I thought it might have been the extra stuff there.
It shouldn't do that, but we're back. All right.
Okay.
So, do you know what the inverse square law of light is?
I do not.
They didn't teach you that in school because you might think about it and go, well, space doesn't make any sense. Light, as it expands, is spreading out. So when it spreads out, what does that do to the light? Right? If I have a little light, square inch of light, and a bulb, that light, if I held a piece of paper right next to it, would be a certain brightness. If I move the paper away, what's going to happen? It's going to get dimmer and dimmer because the light is spreading out. Like when you blow up a balloon, if the balloon itself was the light, you blow it up to a foot wide, it's now a lot thinner than it was before that. You blow it up to 5 feet wide, it's really thin. You blow it up to a mile wide, could you even see the rubber, the light? The light spreads out. It doesn't intensify. Even lasers spread out. People don't realize that. When you shoot a laser, it spreads out over distance. Okay?
Right.
Well, the sun's not a laser. The moon's not a laser. So if you went, the inverse square law of light says every time you half the distance to a light, it gets 4 times brighter, or every time you double the distance, it gets 1/4. It gets 1/4 of the brightness. So if we went halfway to the moon, the light would be 4 lumens. And then if we cut that distance in half, 16, cut that in half, 64. If you kept doing that to the point where they took a photo of the moon, the famous photo of the moon about 100 miles away, the moon's brightness to them at that point would have to be 64 times brighter than we see the sun from Earth. It's incalculable. You can't even stare at the sun. If I said it was twice as bright, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to be pulverized. 64 times brighter for us to be able to see it. So what is that light? Today, day of this recording, where are you located? What state?
I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada.
Yeah. So I'm in Ottawa.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see the moon, pretty big moon, in the sky before the sun sets today. Go out if it's clear day, look at the moon. You will see there is solid blue sky behind the moon. Behind the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, let's pretend you didn't know what the moon was, you've never heard of the moon, and you're looking at it, ask yourself how far away it is. Okay? Ask yourself how far away it is. And then when the sun goes down, if you have some scattered clouds, look at the clouds that are lit up. They're only the ones right next to the moon, right? So throw a whole bunch of cotton balls all over your floor and hold a light bulb a couple inches above it. It's just going to light up the ones that's right near it. Now hold it 38,000 miles away, or the equivalent in the scale model that we made. It's going to light them all up.
Mm-hmm.
The moon should light up all the clouds, but it doesn't. It only lights up the ones that are right near where you see the moon. So what am I saying? That the moon is right above the clouds, right? That doesn't make any sense because airplanes fly that high. I don't think the moon is a physical object. I think it is, everyone sees it and the sun in a position relative to their own, like a reflection. If you and I, let's say the sun, or there's a light behind us, the sun's behind us, doesn't matter. And we're standing 15 feet apart and there's a giant mirror wall in front of us, giant mirror wall. Okay. And I get a third person and they've got a big Sharpie. And I say, walk up to the mirror and I say, right there, go a little left, right there, draw a circle. All right. You just circled where I see the sun. They're going to walk over to you and say, where do you see the sun? And they're going to draw a circle 15 feet from my circle.
Okay.
So I think the best way that I describe it is the sun and the moon act like reflections. And you know, a story I haven't told in a while is like a reflection. Well, wait a minute. I can get a tan. It's hot. How could it be a reflection? I was in Las Vegas at a conference. It was 3:30 in the afternoon. And the sun was setting, going down to like 45 degrees, and it was frying the right side of my face. I was eating some food, and it was just frying the right side of my face. And I said, maybe I should go to the other side of the pool, and so I get a little sun on the left, because I'm going to look like one of those Milano cookies, right? But my hotel was like 50, 100 yards over there, and it had very big mirrored windows, and the sun lined up with one of those mirrors, and it was shining on the left side of my face at one point. And I looked over and it looked the same. Of course, it's a mirror, but I closed my eyes and I felt the heat. Whoa, I'm on a wobble board. Sorry. And I closed my eyes and I felt the heat. And I said, if I didn't know which one was the real sun, could I tell the difference? And I couldn't.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Everything's interesting.
It is interesting. So David,
yes.
NASA.
Oh, boy.
Why the lie? When did it start? And why put so much time and effort into just having people believe you have it all ready to go? Okay, go for it, Dave.
No, finish the question.
Like, what do they hope to achieve with this lie?
So in 1959, 1950s, in there, they started exploring Antarctica. And I believe that, you know, the levels of control in this world are beyond what we see. You know, the people that we think are the leaders, they're being controlled by people above them. And I believe that those people, my belief is that they are beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. And that's kind of why many world leaders go down there on really weird times to maybe get their marching orders. So Admiral Byrd went out And he said there's more land bigger than the United States filled with resources, fuel, gas, coal, oil, coal, uranium, and metals. And there's no people there, and there's no animals, and it's amazing. And they said, oh, can't go there. Antarctic Treaty, 1,000 countries signed on. Every major country in the world has since signed on. Can't even question it until the year 21. No corporation, like ExxonMobil, why aren't they petitioning? Like, we should go there. You want cheaper prices? They can turn the world in, they could break that treaty anytime they wanted if they weren't all involved in this thing. We can deforest the Amazon, but don't go to Antarctica because we have to protect the pristine ice and the penguins.
The penguins, okay? Yeah.
And the penguins, the friggin' penguins. And by the way, that proves the Earth is flat also. I'll show you that in a moment. The penguins, remind me. So that happens, and they go, oh, we're going to the moon. Everyone, don't look over there. Look over there, up there, that thing that you can never verify yourself, right? We're going to the moon. And you'll never be able to verify it. And in the 1960s and 70s, we went 6 friggin' times. 6 times, flawlessly, right? Couple, little drama, we lost the heating or whatever. And all of it, anyone who takes the time to look and actually use their common sense will see that none of it makes any sense. I mean, go look at and it's also the people that funded NASA, that founded NASA. You got a cultist, you got Nazis, and you got a Disney animator. Okay, look at these are the people that are running NASA. Absolute insanity. So
okay, now I see Werner von Braun in there.
Yep.
And I got to ask, because like a lot of these things have similarities in regards to free thinking. Did he not encounter aliens also in the Antarctic, or is that not something that flat earthers are into? Like, that doesn't mix into the timeline, because there's a lot of people that say that he came into contact with aliens. They told him never to come back. They said never come back, and they pulverized a small army.
Yeah, and that's where I say, cool story, bro. Okay. But however,
hold on, Dave. See, that's the interesting thing. Like, where you're a flat earth guy, and they might look at flat earth like from another perspective, someone that believes that story, and say, well, I don't necessarily buy into flat earth, or maybe they do. And then on the other side, right, is that you're also looking for acceptance for flat earth. And then you're like, let me start that thought again.
That's all right.
Okay, let me start that thought again, because it's getting complicated. We're in the free thought space, right? So aliens, free thought, it falls into that category. And then we have the free thought of flat earth. You would hope that maybe people that would believe in aliens would believe in flat earth, but flat earthers generally don't believe in aliens. Is that what you're saying? Or is that just your own personal take?
Well, it's been a while, and we're going to talk about that right now, because aliens and extraterrestrials, are they the same thing?
Oh, is this going to be the Extraterra?
Extraterra, so you know about it.
Right.
So space, the vacuum of space, is scientifically impossible. You can't have high pressure next to low pressure or no pressure without a physical barrier, right? Why doesn't all of the air equalize in the empty space above us? And the only answer you have is gravity, the magic of gravity. But gravity can't hold air down. Like, if you believe that gravity is holding the air to the earth, then I can't take a straw and suck liquid or air up and away from Earth with the weak vacuum of my lungs, because the super vacuum of space can't do it. The super low pressure can't do it. If I had a shoebox in my room and I sucked all the air out of the room below the shoebox, according to the gravity theory, the air in the shoebox should stay in the shoebox, and the rest of the air will disappear.
And nothing of that has to do with the fact that we're within Earth's atmosphere?
Well, you're just saying words. We're in Earth's atmosphere.
Right.
There's no container.
They are words.
We have air pressure.
Yeah.
You can't have pressure without a container. For example, so space, they tell us there's a tiny little bit of air in space, but it's really a vacuum, whatever. And we have high pressure here. So let's look at a tire on a car. A tire, let's say the pressure in the tire, that's the pressure, the air pressure on Earth. and then the regular air pressure outside of it, which is much less, we'll call that space. Okay? If I poked a hole in the top of the tire or the side of the tire or the bottom of the tire, what's going to happen?
Air is going to come out.
Going to equalize. You have a vacuum of space adjacent to a pressurized atmosphere. Pressure means it's pushing off of a container, right? Okay. And the globe cultists out there will go, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until there's no more air. Well, that's not true. I mean, yeah, thinner, but you need a container for that to happen. When you have a container of propane or hydrogen or whatever the gases, might be liquid on the bottom, then it gets thinner and thinner and thinner to the top where it's the thinnest. Okay, in a container, cut a hole in that container anywhere, the entire thing dispels.
But David, why the lie? Why the NASA lie? Why go to so much trouble to fool the people into the fact that we landed on the moon, etc.?
Yeah. So real quick, Werner von Braun, the Nazi scientist that was brought over in fake Project Paperclip because there was no Cold War, there was no space race. He's running NASA. Are we? We're still good. He's running NASA, and his gravestone said Psalms 19:1, which is screen's jumping up on top of me. Let the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Why does a Nazi scientist, NASA guy, talking about the dome over us? Okay,
Dave, relax. No,
listen, listen, Jason, I'm relaxed. I like you, and I know where you are because I've been there. I've been there, right? Like, people are so worried about what other people think about them. I'm worried. I'm not worried about it anymore. I don't give whatever letter of the alphabet you want to throw in there. All right, I don't care. I would like people to like me, of course, but I see the lie. I'm not going to live the lie. And so what if the world is set up like this? What if we live here in this pond? This ring in this pond is Antarctica. There's more continents outside of here. This is tens of thousands of miles, right? And then beyond that are other ponds. These are other ponds, other worlds. So extraterrestrials, the word itself is saying they're coming from the extra land, could be coming from land beyond Antarctica. So just for those of you that are not getting it, Kansas here is a very flat state. They say it's a flat state, whatever. Imagine a lake 25 miles around. That's a pretty big lake, okay? And you're on a boat in the lake, and in the center of that lake is a tall island with a tall mountain, and it's a magnetic mountain. So you got your compass. Your compass is going to point to the center of the lake, right? Your compass needle is going to point to the magnet. You with me?
Yep.
Okay. And so west would be that way. If I try to go west, I have to keep turning because I need that needle to point towards the center. So west is a circle around that lake, right? Around the center. East is a circle around that. Okay? You with me?
I am.
Actually, that's not what I'm trying to show. Real quick, where my computer is lagging here. I don't know why. So maybe it is me. Is it really bad on your end?
Yeah, I did. Like, you completely froze at some point.
All right. Well, it's running perfectly over here. I'm going to give you the recording, and you're going to be amazed on the clear quality.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but you can hear me the whole time, right?
Yes, the whole time I could hear you.
So I'm moving this compass around, and I have to keep turning it. Now, if I go east, I have to turn it to the left.
Yes.
All right. That doesn't prove the Earth is flat because that works the same on a globe. If you were a mile from the North Pole and you started walking east, 6.28 miles later, you're going to be right back to where you come from. Where you came from, because you're going to walk a circle, okay? But if you try to go in a straight line and don't correct, you're heading south immediately. No matter what direction you start walking, if you don't turn, you're heading south.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So you're on this little lake, and you sail around, you visit all of the islands, and then you decide, you know what? I'm going to put my back to the center, and I'm going to head south. And you get to the edge of the lake. Do you fall off the lake? You ever fall off a lake?
No.
No, you step up onto the land. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's the container of our oceans. It's the side lateral pressure, lakes, ponds, tubs, buckets. Everything needs a container, and the container has to be higher than the water. Water will flow away. Antarctica is the highest continent on Earth. Go figure. So you get off the lake and you start walking away. You're still walking off the lake. You're walking away across Kansas. You're a mile from the lake. Can't even see the lake anymore. 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, whatever. And then all of a sudden you come to another lake. A whole nother world. Okay? And maybe in between these lakes, it's pitch black because there's no light there. Each lake has its own local small sun. Okay? So if it's pitch black in between all of these, and the space right here, that could be, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 miles. Okay? If you're in a ship flying around some some future, some other technology, airship or whatever, you're going to be in blackness, but you're going to see little dots of light from all of these other ponds. But if you're a globalist, you're going to think they're spheres. Even as you approach one and it gets bigger and bigger, that circle of light, you're going to be like, oh, it's a sphere. It's dark around it. It must be a sphere. But really not. It's not. It's how light works. Take a light, go in a dark room, hold a light right near the wall. It'll light up just a section of the wall. The wall across the room, across the farther away, it will be dark.
Mm-hmm. But why?
Why the lie? So we're getting there. We're getting there. Jason, do you think there's a little tyranny going on in the world right now?
Absolutely.
Living in Canada with Castro, your leader.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this is about control. Do you know the story about the Iron Republic?
No.
Iron Republic. Keeping it short, a politician out of New York got sick of the system, sold everything, bought a ship, went to Antarctica, was looking around, found an inlet, got sucked in, came out into the ocean, was lost for a couple of months. And then they found land and they were circling around land. Oh, there's a city. And then they waited in the morning before they tried to go ashore. And a boat came out and it's like, hey, who are you? Where are you from? Like, we're from America. Where are we? Like, this is the Iron Republic. Like, where's that? And they go, it's on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance that the United States is from here. And the guy didn't quite understand. Went in, told the story of this this is in 1901. This was written. And, he told the story of great technologies, flat screens, electric, floating cars, all this crazy stuff, a whole different society. Lived there for years, married, fell in love, got married, and then his wife died, and he got so distraught, he got his ship back, and he went back, and he came back and landed in Florida, and he told the story, had evidence, wrote a book. Now, whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. In 1901, they were talking about more land on the other side of Antarctica. Okay. Right. It rings true to me. And how did he know about all these technologies and all these different form of government and all this stuff? But the story of the people we're getting to the why the lie of the people that were there. They're like, well, we used to live in the inner world where you are, but tyranny was happening. We didn't like what happened. So we picked up and left and moved out here. What if you found out just here in our pond, there's other worlds, other lands, right? What if you found out there was many more continents here, just outside where we live? We live. Well, this is a puddle theory again. So here, there's another pond out here, another pond out here. Again, this is, I don't know, 10,000 miles. This little strip right here. Okay, you can't see 10,000 miles. You can't see 100 miles. Everything terminates the way our eyes work. The way the atmosphere works.
David, why?
Okay.
I want to know why.
I'm getting into why. So your thoughts create your reality.
I believe that, yes.
What if I limited your thoughts? Here's your thoughts. We're running out of water. We're running out of space. We're overpopulated, right? That's not true. Every family in America could have a half an acre in Texas and there'd still be room in Texas. Okay. We're running out of food. We're overpopulated. We're running out of fuel. That's because they're faking us with not letting us use free energy. An asteroid could hit us at any moment. There's no place to go.
Right. It's always fear-based and it's always scarcity.
Steering your mind with the news, north, east, west, south, with fear, false evidence appearing real. And they're controlling your mind because literally we are in a spiritual war. And they want our energy. They want our ability to manifest the world that they want because they're blood-sucking, horrible, and I'll say people because I don't know what else to call them. Okay?
You're a good man.
So it's about control. And it's also when you understand that the earth is intelligently designed, what does that tell you? Well, there's a verse in the Bible. I'm not a Bible guy. A couple of verses, I think, that's basically say, once you see my creation, the earth, you can no longer have any excuse to deny my existence. Okay? So when I discovered that the earth was flat, I guess the best word you had for me, I was an atheist. I'm like, holy crap, there's a creator. And that's it. That's as far as I take it. Everyone's relationship journey with their relationship with the creator is their own. And I don't think anyone should say anything to anyone else. You could set an example. Hey, this is how I see the creator. These are the labels that I've put on the creator. This is what I do to honor the creator. Great. Thanks. Great example. Thank you. Maybe I'll make note of it. Okay. But I think it's a personal journey. I think we're all the creator. We're all part of the creator. And we're creating this world, but they're controlling us. They're limiting our thoughts. We can't, imagine if you knew that the world was way, way, way bigger, right? This is a map that was found. Oh, that's not the map.
So let me just before you go forward with this, just to kind of get everyone on the same page. Are you basically saying that NASA would go through all this trouble to have the Earth be a globe because it's so limiting? You just look at this sphere, like this is everything that exists. We're the potentially only life form that's out there, opposed to having all these different potential outcomes of having a flat Earth, much more extra terra, etc.
So to say NASA would go through all of that trouble is basically to say that NASA is legit. NASA was made to deceive us. They're not real. They've never sent anybody into space because space is not a place that you can go. They never sent anyone to the moon because the moon is not a surface. It's probably plasma or something. It's not a place that you can go. Okay. NASA was sent here to imprison our minds. The heliocentric system is the matrix. It's a prison for your mind. It limits your thoughts. It keeps you disconnected from the creator. It keeps you scared, right? We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. I'm trying to find a friggin' map that I can't find, but we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles per hour, right? And we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. Asteroids, comets, right? Go Google asteroid approach. And every friggin' day there's an article. We just missed by an asteroid. It came really close. So if you believe that we live on a spinning ball, deep down in every cell in your body lives in fear of the horrible end that the dinosaurs had, the horrible things that are going to happen. The sun's going to supernova, whatever, right? All of this stuff. Well, when you understand that none of that is true, that we're at the center of creation, that we're protected, well, all that fear is gone. Now you have that spiritual energy back. Now, what are you going to do with that? You're going to rise up.
Interesting. Right.
So,
and that's what you mean by a spiritual war.
Yeah. And people, they feed off of our fear energy. Okay. Well, what do you mean they're feeding off of your energy? Yeah. This is a real thing. And that's how they get away with it. We're taught that that's just mumbo jumbo nonsense, right? Nonsense. Like that energy, they thrive off of it. How that all works, it's beyond me. But just getting back, these are all of the motions that we're going, right? Have you ever put them into context? This is the hypersonic sled track. It's going to go by at Mach 8.6. Watch it again. Can't even see it, right?
Right.
I encourage people to Google it, hypersonic sled track on Google, on YouTube, and you'll find this exact video and you'll hear it, and it's shocking to the body. You have to believe that we are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. We got this watery ball that's orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that and chasing the sun at 100 times faster than that. Okay. But when we go out into nature, you see this. What does this tell you? What do your God-given common senses tell you, and not the nonsense that you've been indoctrinated?
All right.
Think about it.
I see where you're going with it. I absolutely do. I mean, there's a lot of arguments that you made the first time that we spoke that I still am incredibly intrigued by. And I can't explain it, but I'm not a scientist either. I don't know.
I'm not a scientist is a psyop. Is a psyop.
I knew it. I shouldn't have said it.
I'm not a scientist is a psyop. Scientists are the ones that study the mumbo jumbo nonsense. I think it's Yukaku. I got my paper right here from my coast to coast interview. Usually in science, if we're off by a factor of 2 or a factor of 10, we call that horrible. Okay? We say something's wrong with the theory when we're off by a factor of 10. However, in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120th power. Now, I'm calling BS on that because 10 to the 120th power is a number that no human mind can comprehend. Okay? 10 to the 120, that's 10 with 120 zeros, right? A trillion, 1 trillion has 12 zeros.
Right.
Okay? 120. So now think about this. You've seen my interviews. How long is a trillion seconds?
Oh God, I can't remember that shit.
Take a guess. 1 trillion seconds.
1 trillion seconds has, I don't know.
Like if you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
52 weeks.
Very close. 31,000 years. Okay.
Why do you say you tricked me with weeks, you son of a bitch?
Yes, that's right. But so no, I'm just showing you that our minds don't calculate. So think about it.
Yeah.
31,000 years is 1 trillion seconds. That's a big number.
Right.
And they're telling us that cosmology is off by a factor of 10 to the 120th. That number doesn't exist.
Right.
Because if I added one more zero on that's 310,000 years
right.
for a trillion seconds.
So I actually think that my guess falls within that
I think it
realm
does.
of error.
Yeah.
Like it still counts.
I'll just subtract the difference from the amount of Bitcoin that I give you. Okay. And then another quote, which I have here, is all of theoretical work has been theoretical physics, which is space, that has been done since the 1970s, has not produced a single successful prediction, says Neil Turek, director of the Institute of Theoretical Physics in Waterloo, Canada. Look, your guy.
Hey.
Okay? That's a shocking state of affairs.
So this is all a big lie. We never sent anyone to the moon. We have not been to outer space as we know it. This is all part of a spiritual war that is designed by government to suppress us, to have us come from a place of scarcity opposed to a place of abundance. Did I nail that?
Pretty good. It's the two big things I say: hide our freedom, hide more land, hide resources, keep us struggling, having us pay for. Imagine if you didn't have to pay for electricity, gasoline, you had free energy, and you knew how to garden. Okay. What would you need? Not a lot. You can trade with your neighbors. You can get it all done. Okay.
Yeah, big shout out to my sponsor, Food Forest Abundance up there. All about food freedom.
Yeah, there you go. And so they have us lost, spinning out of control, lost in space, scared, sick. Yeah, we're supposed to live way longer than 100 years. Okay, this is all. They're without saying too much, they're attacking us from every possible angle.
Okay, right? Crazy free thought that you talk about free energy. There are some people from the alien technology to say that there have been technologies that were built thousands of years ago that also did produce free energy,
like CERN, like the pyramids.
Yes,
right. I believe that the CERN is as old as the pyramids, and that it's new. That they've discovered it. There's like thousands of these things around the Earth, but we only hear about the one. Okay, there's no photos of it being built, just like the International Space Station or the new Chinese space station. Okay, there's no photos or videos of it being built. What happened? Okay, it's
Say it.
No, I'm trying to remember where I was going. I've been up all night. So the space station. This is what do you think of this from the space station? Why don't we see any land down here?
Right. It's a cloudy day, David.
Okay, a cloudy day, but doesn't it look flat, or does it look curved?
Oh boy, that's a tough one.
Well,
I mean, I guess I would. You son of a gun.
Okay.
You're such a trickster.
That's how easy it is to fool somebody. It's that easy, right? And then this is like the tank from the space shuttle falling back to Earth at free fall speed, like 20 or 40,000 pounds, empty. Does that look like it's falling, or does it look like it's floating? Watch this guy. He falls. Ready?
Right.
That's falling. Dude. But know what's even worse than this? This is like should be in the Macy's Day Parade. Okay. Know what's worse? The guy that's filming this is on the shuttle heading up at the same time as this is falling. He's filming
getting smaller.
It should be gone in a split second.
Right.
He's traveling 17,000 miles an hour up. That's falling at free fall speed, but he filmed it for like, minutes.
And there's also I believe there's a clip out there as well in regards to CGI to kind of like the rockets flickering, like to where there is some type of launch for a satellite, and that these launches are also CGI and they're not real.
Some of them are CGI. Some of them are balloons. On my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, watch right here. A little piece of paper is going to float by. There's rockets are balloons. Situation. Ready? It's coming, and there it goes. Piece of paper.
Oh wow!
That shows you how fast this thing's moving. It's floating. This is filled with helium.
Wow! And what's that supposed to be?
That's supposed to be the external tank on the space shuttle. Remember the space shuttle?
That's insane. And where's that footage from?
That's from NASA.
That is from NASA. That's pretty damning right there.
And so look, this is a bouncy house. This is nobody's on here. No one's ever on there. This is all a big show. Now, these people, if you Google space shuttle launch, you'll get this video. Okay? They'll feed you this. Look at these people. It makes them look like they're right there. They're not. They're like over 10 miles away. You ever look at something 10 miles away? All right?
Right.
You can't even see it. This thing is, and also it's like behind a row of trees, so they can't even see it. Maybe the very tip of it if they have good binoculars.
Right. So you're saying that, I know that they're separated by a large body of water. But you're saying that they should not be able to see what they're able to see with their eyes.
Well, they're making it look like in this video that those people are right there. Therefore, there's witnesses. Therefore, space launches have to be real. Yes, they're launching something. But this is 4 million pounds. Okay? Now, if you know anything about inertia, once you get 4 million pounds moving in one direction, does it change directions? No, it doesn't. Right. So watch a couple things here. The thrust coming out of this. As it goes up, that thrust is going to spread out. So people go, well, there's a channel right below it. So all the thrust is going through the channel. This fence, would you say this is hot? Yeah, it's hot. Okay. Right. This is hotter than a friggin' blowtorch. Right. Okay. And it's coming out at over 17,000 miles an hour because it has to, because this thing goes to 25,000 miles an hour. So that thrust has to be faster than that. That's ridiculous speed. It can't even happen, but that's what has to happen. What would happen to this fence with a 17,000 miles an hour wind, superheated? But before I tell you that, room temperature wind, tornado, 300 miles an hour will tie it into knots and turn trees into toothpicks.
Interesting. So beyond the fact that it's just hot and you'd think it would just melt that structure, it should just blow the gates right off.
It should incinerate and atomize, if that's a thing, everything. And then this thing, I was like, why do they go so slow? Right? Yeah. It's because it's a balloon. This is a light show with a lot of smoke. The light show with a lot of smoke.
Okay.
Did we look at this last time or no?
No.
Okay. So watch this. So what happens? It always rolls over on its back. They fly upside down and backwards. That's because this thing is heavier than the helium balloon tank. So when you see a smoke trail, they are launching something real. When you don't see a smoke trail, there's nothing being launched, right? There's many that don't have smoke trails. Now, it's always curving. They say, well, that's because it's getting up speed and it's going over the curvature of the Earth and it's going out to space. Now, this is 30 miles downwind, downstream, okay? 30 miles downstream or whatever. And then they release these solid rocket boosters, which they say once they're on, they can never turn them off, right? And they release it. It's going over 17,000 miles an hour. How's this thing going sideways at 17,000 miles an hour? Think about the aerodynamics of that. The SR-71 goes like 2,000 miles an hour, 3,000 miles an hour, and it can't go sideways like that. And the other thing is, if you Google this and watch it with sound, the second you see that, you hear the they have that in the video.
Okay.
30 miles downwind, 30 miles times 5 seconds is 150 seconds. That's how long it would take the sound to get back to the camera.
But we're hearing it.
We're hearing it at the exact same second.
Right. Okay. So you're saying that's manufactured. That has to be manufactured.
This can't go sideways in the atmosphere. Okay.
Well, what happened with the Challenger then? Was that all just nonsense?
I'll answer that right after this slide. This thing goes Mach 3.2. Any faster, it rips to shreds. It has no paint on it, no logos, because it gets so friggin' hot that they burn off. It actually has space in the seams where gas actually leaks out until it gets up and it heats up and then it expands. It actually grows 6 inches. So they have it so it seals itself in when it's going. Okay. That's the official story. All right. No paint, pretty darn aerodynamic, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And it goes 2,193 miles per hour. This thing, it has PVC pipe running down the side of it, like a flat attachment. This hunk of junk goes 22,000 miles an hour, Mach 33.
Right. But it has all those booster thingies on it, though, Dave.
Doesn't matter. The aerodynamics, the heat, the speed. If you can't see that this is impossible, that this is fake, that we didn't go to the moon, you are lying to yourself, and that's not healthy. Yeah. Right? If you lie to yourself your whole life, you're going to die a very bad death. Okay? Right. You have to be truthful to yourself. If deep down inside you know something is fake, your soul is telling you it's fake, but your conscious mind is like, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to have the ridicule of it. Mm-hmm. I want to, I want to believe. You are killing yourself. I
have honestly, I'm going to be very transparent. I have never really thought so much about all these launches being fake. I know that there was footage of 1 or 2 where it seems to be flickering images. But when I see those numbers, like if those numbers are legitimate and this thing's traveling 22,000, and then when you look at this minuscule number of 2,000 for something that is this much thing, lighter and designed for speed.
Look at this thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, when this thing comes in, do you know why they have 2 jet fighters escorting it in over every time? They used to have, you remember they'd have a jet? That's because this is a jet. There's engines on here, and they're using the jets so you can't tell the difference in the sound. This is an airplane.
Oh.
It's flying in.
So you're saying that's, again, another production. They have planes flying in
to hide
with it
the sound,
for the sound.
For the sound. And if you look at it, there, you could see from the side, the back view, it's got jet exhaust vents.
Yeah, I can buy that. I mean,
this isn't
I've never
what
heard this before.
But this isn't what you saw go up. What you saw go up is a balloon. This is an airplane that maybe they flew it on top of a 747 and they released it and it flies down, or maybe it just took off on its own from an Air Force base and then it flies high and it comes in just when it's supposed to. It's all a show. It's all a show. On my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you hit the web button, go down to Rockets Are Balloons. Get ready to lose your entire childhood, everything. It's all going to go away if you watch those videos. It's all gone. It's all gone. But here's the thing. People have a hard time letting go. Their ego is like, well, if I if I look at that and I actually think about it, I have to admit that I've been lied to my whole life, and that everything I've thought of for the last 50 years is a lie, and people can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
People just can't handle it. But let me tell you something. It's freeing. Once you understand what this place isn't, you start seeing what it is, and the rabbit hole is absolutely endless. So the Challenger crew, that was the first launch that they dragged televisions into every schoolroom. Every kid was watching it live because they had a teacher on it, Krista McCauley.
Right.
Okay. And basically it's called trauma-based mind control. It's called kicking the can down the road, right? When I was a kid, we're going to have hotels in space. We're going to have hotels on the moon. We're going to have tourism, right? They keep kicking it down. They just kicked back the moon mission again. My good buddy, co-host, researcher friend, Jaronism, he has a video called NASA going nowhere since 1959. And he basically shows all of the presidents. We're going to the moon. No, we're going to Mars. Then we're going to the moon. No, we're going to Mars. And they just keep kicking the can down the road. And they keep kicking it. Oh, we had a delay. We have a budget. We have this. We have that. I mean, NASA gets $65 million every single day. That's what they tell us. They don't, because they're just this Hollywood studio. But what happened to the Challenger astronauts? Well, we found 6 of them that have identical twins that go by the same name, that all work for universities. They have the same mannerisms. We have one with Judy Resnick here. She's a Yale law professor, and Judy Resnick, the astronaut, both making speeches during their, when she was an astronaut, and same dimple, same hair, same teeth, same gestures, same voice, same everything, and people still deny it. Okay, they all have twins. Here's the killer, though. Here's the kicker. You have any brothers and sisters?
I do.
If one of them passed away, would you go to the funeral?
I would.
Yeah. Okay, if you had a twin brother.
Yeah, the twins are supposed to be like super tight.
None of them showed up at their sibling's funeral.
Right. Because that's that person, or was supposedly that person.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
On my channel, DITRH, right here,
mm-hmm.
There's a playlist called Challenger. Okay. And you can watch the videos showing the breakdown of all of this.
Okay. But and they did this and had everyone kind of like watch it to create trauma.
They love drama. They want kids being, and maybe they did it just to kick the can down the road, to say, you know what? Look, we don't want that to happen again. Okay. You need another decade. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically to keep the space program going, make it last, drag it out longer and longer and longer. Now you have, Elon Musk, not Elon Musk. You have Jeff Bezos and SpaceX doing their launches with civilians, right? What civilians do they have on there?
Right. William Shatner.
So,
right. So an actor, Canadian, buddy.
Yeah. William Shatner, a broke actor who may have needed some money, is 91 years old, fat, out of shape, and they slingshot him into space for 4.5 minutes of weightlessness, where don't you think that would be filmed? They show 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. That's it at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So they may have had him in a zero-G plane. I don't even think I think they didn't even have him in a zero-G plane because he couldn't handle it. That's what's that called? Blue Origin. So I want to show you Shatner. Okay. So the rocket takes off. Incredible G-forces, stuff that might make you pass out. But William Shatner, he's fine, right? Okay. And he comes up, and then they come down for this landing. Now watch this. Is this real? Look, it's kind of going sideways. Then they'll change the shot. Oh, now it's going down. It's about to hit. What about all these bushes? Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, now there it is. Slam. Now watch it again.
Right. And way off in the distance, of course.
Slam. Watch the slam. I think I could show you again. Oh, here, I got to actually have a better one here. Watch the slam. Okay. So
if I had to just take a guess, like it looked like it's like there's kind of like a little bit of a weird delay, or
that's a pretty hard slam in the ground, right?
Right.
So let me ask you a question. At any sporting event, school fair, carnival, not very dangerous. What do you have to have there? What does the town make you have there? An ambulance.
Right.
Somebody could get hurt. Okay. Right. So what did they have for William Shatner, the 91-year-old fat guy who was just launched into space? Okay. Slams into the desert where anything could go wrong. Okay. And who's there? Let me just jump forward. He comes out. Who you got there? You got Jeff Bezos, a couple of wives, no ambulances, no EMS workers, no nothing. Oh, is this Shatner coming out? Could barely walk, right? No one's checking on him.
Listen, this is Captain Kirk. Show some respect.
I'm sorry. I love Captain Kirk. Loved him. But William Shatner is a famous quote of him being interviewed off the cuff somewhere. And they're like, science fiction and science. And he goes, oh, there's no difference. It's the same thing.
Right. That is, you know what? That is pretty interesting. You would think after you came back like that, being an older gentleman, that there would be some medical personnel just to check on him as precaution, especially after a harsh landing like that.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. It's absolutely, it's absolute insanity. Right. So here it is. And this thing is launching a giant penis into space. Right. They love their phallic symbols. Now watch the edits. Watch edit. That's 3 edits, 4 edits. Okay. 5 edits, right? What? No, wait. Where's the smoke? No smoke.
So the smoke's gone now.
Watch right here. Watch the top. I'll zoom in on it. Watch the top. There's a edit. There's a glitch. Okay. This is and look, it's above the land. And hold on, do we go back? There's 2 edits where it's like at the wrong height. Okay. So watch the top. Is this the one that has the edits in it? Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, wrong video. Here we go. So here we go. I'll jump forward on the launch, but it's edit. It takes off, it goes up. There's 4 edits. Now, where is it? 5 edits. Who's getting this shot? What? Yeah. That's a cool drone. Okay. And no smoke trail. Okay. So watch right here. Bam. What's that?
Yeah. Okay.
Not real. We caught NASA with these weird lights. We were zooming in on some pictures that I forget if we got them off of Google Earth or something. And we're like, what are these big spotlights for? And we zoomed in. We actually got like a serial number or the name of a company. And we looked it up, a holographic projection company that specializes in holographic projections. What is NASA doing with holographic projection lights?
Right.
Again. Oh, and what? And this thing, it's got the air brakes. Look, these are air brakes. These little things right here. These are air brakes. This is multi-tons coming down, and it's going to land upright. You ever see a Harrier jump jet on a windy day? Okay. Right. And it lands upright. Look at this. Who's filming that? Look at this. And you know why people think it's real? Because on one other test flight, it crashed and it exploded. They're like, well, why would they do that? For that very reason. Look, nonsense. Absolute. You've seen the landings on the drone ships, right? Go look up anyone. Go look up SpaceX Starlink launch. Watch the launch. Ridiculous. Edit. Then watch the one that separates. And then you have the one piece coming down. It's got 2 little milk crates that go like this. Whoop. And it steers it down. And it basically shows the Earth spinning underneath it. And it lands on a tiny little drone ship where nobody's on the ship, right? It lands bullseyes on this thing on a perfectly calm ocean, right? If you live near the ocean's never calm, very rarely, but it's always calm for these landings. But it lands perfectly. And the funny thing is, the camera on the ship always glitches out just before it lands. And then it comes back on and it's there.
Right.
It's the most retarded, I'm bringing that word back, thing ever. Okay?
Bringing that word back.
I'm bringing it back.
All right. So, Dave, I think I'd love to finish actually on this clip that you showed me last time we spoke.
What one?
And that's where I kind of called it because I said we're getting into territory that I'd like to cover later on. And that would be footage of astronauts on the ship, like with things going in and out of their neck and just the blue screen working really poorly, or the green screen, on the space station, I believe.
The International Fake Station.
Yes.
All right.
That'll be a good one to finish on.
Let's go to the Chinese International Space Station. They built one also, and there's no video or photos of it being built. It's just up there, and these guys are on it. And they're doing all these experiments. And one of them is with a water. Look, there's a cup of water. Why is a cup of water sitting there? Cup of water. It should
be floating, right?
And the water should be all over the place.
Right.
The water's level. And when they went to get the water, the laptop, we're trying to find the footage again. It disappeared. The laptop fell closed. The laptop was like this, and it fell. Why'd it fall?
Right.
Why did it fall? So I think I have and then this is from the Chinese space station. They're showing the Earth. Wait, it's pretty flat. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. This is live from their space station. Wait a minute. It's a pear. Wait a minute. What's the Earth? What are we seeing here? This is live from their space station. Okay, no, it's a blob. Wait a minute. Hold on. I think it's going to be a globe. Just hang in there. Okay. And here we go. It's a globe.
Right.
It's a globe. There you go. It's a globe. That's from the Chinese space station. Here they are. Look, a glass of water right there.
Sitting there still. Right.
Sitting there still. They do different things. They use zero-G planes. They do it in studios, hanging from wires. They have CGI. The water may not even be real. It could be CGI water. And because I've seen, in movies and stuff, they have globs of water floating around. That's all CGI, and you can manipulate it in augmented reality. You can manipulate it yourself.
Wow.
Okay. Yep.
And the American Fake Station, or what you called it? What about that one?
The International Fake Station.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we go here, and it says, here is, what do I got here? So the space station is showing the Dragon capsule. It's getting ready to depart. Look at the orientation to the Earth, and then they switch cameras, and now it's sideways to the Earth. And you try to put that together. Well, look at this black mark, this black thing, right? We can still see it here. There's no way that you can get the Earth oriented sideways. But this is them real time, switching back and forth between the two cameras. Right? How about this? Is there gravity in space? Watch this guy. Oops, he dropped something and he caught it. You ever do that? You ever drop something and catch it?
Right.
You don't have to do that in space, but for some reason he had to, because he encountered a pocket of gravity.
Could happen. Or I'm not a scientist.
Pocket of gravity. All right. I'm not a scientist. Yeah, just give up your common sense and believe nonsense. So let me ask you a question. The doors that they have, which are like submarine doors. On a submarine, they have like a whole crew of people that fix seals constantly 24/7, all the time.
Right.
In space, where you have more reverse pressure than you have on a submarine, been up there for 20 years, no problem. All the seals work perfectly. Okay. So let me ask you a question. How does this door seal them off? Watch this door.
Well, obviously, it's like a super futuristic plastic. Dave, come on.
Very good. Very good. You know what? The NASA fanboys would back you up on that. Yeah. Okay? They'd back you up on that.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. And then we have this person on the space station. I believe if you watch this interview, I have it on my channel, DITRH. Check it out. It's called I forget the name of it. It's one of my recent videos. I believe she thinks she's on the space station. I believe she's an MK Ultra mind-controlled person. She's hanging from wires. They told her she's in space and to ignore the wires. And when she does her flip, her harness shows. And you'll just see this little black thing right there coming out of her pants. But if you're free floating in space, why is she pivoting at the hips? Okay.
Right. It looks like she's
and what
connected at the
happens right
side.
here? Whoops. Right. And if you listen to her talk and the things that she said, she's under hypnosis. I used to hypnotize people in college. I learned how to do hypnosis. And I look at her eyes. She's under hypnosis.
Wow.
Okay.
MK Ultra. Yeah, that's something else we could.
Yeah.
There's so many topics.
Right. And then,
wow.
Here's the old, look at us. We're sideways. We're this way. We're that way, you know? And meanwhile, right here is a bunch of fruit sitting on a table.
Right. Another example.
Yeah.
That should be floating.
Right.
Wherever.
Right. And then you saw Don Pettit saying, oh, I took some plastic and I taped it together. I put coffee in it so I could drink coffee out of a cup because it clings to the side of a cup. And he's telling this whole story. And then when he lets it float, the CGI gets out of sync with the cup. Right. The cup, I believe he's on a 0G plane, and then they CGI'd the coffee or the color, whatever. You know, the NASA fanboy goes, that's not the coffee. It's the tape he used. Well, either way, this is fake.
Yeah.
Cosmic rays. You don't know how many cosmic rays are up there. Right. I mean, it is unbelievable.
And this is all under the guise of NASA.
This is all NASA. By the way, NASA, JAXA, Chinese, they're all in it together. There is no Cold War. There is no division. They're all in it together.
Right.
They're all in it together.
Well, Dave, some parting words. If people are looking to find you, they want to know more about the NASA lie that might lead them to flat Earth, etc. Where can they find your stuff?
Everything is at flatearthdave.com. If you Google flat Earth, you're not going to find anything. Okay. You're going to find just what they want you to find. It's just what they want you to see. flatearthdave.com. The app is there. All the links to all my channels, my interviews channels. This interview will be there. Your interview will be on the app also. There's so many resources there. And so anyone that's triggered, that's like, the Earth isn't flat. All you have to do is provide one proof and you get 3 Bitcoins. One proof. But before you do it, watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. Check the frequently asked questions to make sure the silly question that you have isn't answered. There it is. And then you'll realize that you don't live on a spinning space ball flying through impossible Narnia space.
Right. Well, thank you once again, Dave, for joining me here on the Launchpad podcast. Another big shout out to my sponsors above and to you watching. If you enjoyed the program, make sure to find Dave at Dearth and subscribe to his amazing YouTube channel. Of course, I'd love a subscribe to mine. You take care, be well, and love simply because you can.